trade 2 clubs. Malik fancied that Kain had a weakness for redheads, the same way that Carina had a weakness for green-eyed men. Malik took the maiden by the hand to have her dance with Kain. Kain danced with a red-headed stranger, if only to be polite. She had come looking for a good time. She shouldn't need to suffer just because he was in a foul mood. He danced 5 songs with a redhead. After the 6th song, she flirtatiously felt Kain before dragging him into the bathroom, and she slobbered his face with kisses before working her way lower and lower. And his face blushed an exquisite pink, and her lips felt amazing, and he parted her hair down the middle, and from that high angle she resembled Eugenia. How he missed Eugenia, how he loved her, and the maiden set up once Kain's instrument acquired the rigidity she desired. "Let me get a condom," said Kain, opening his wallet. And the woman took it before Kain had a chance to open the package, and frowning, she said, "This condom is expired." "Condoms expire?" said Kain, shocked. "Do you have another condom?" asked the woman, becoming frustrated. Kain showed her the 15 other condoms he had brought, and all of them were expired. When Kain turned 15, his grandpa taught him about the birds and bees. He also received from his grandpa's, he also got his grandpa's old Playboy magazines and a box with 400 condoms. Kain had been using the same box of condoms, so naturally they were all expired by 3 to 5 years. "Well, it's fine. You look clean enough, and I have a morning after bill," said the maiden, lowering her undergarments. I prefer not to chance it," said Kain, putting his instrument away. It was quickly losing its inspiration. "But what is tomorrow? We go on a date, just the 2 of us." "Nah, I have a boyfriend. If you're not going to fuck me, I will take my vagina elsewhere," said the woman, departing. Kain went to sit down on the toilet, but he grimaced when he saw something that made him wish he had never been born. He took refuge in the stall for the handicapped people, and there was a spot in the floor that was sanitized enough for him to sit down. He sat there for half an hour while he played the Game Boy Advance he carried in his back pocket. "Kain, you have been in the bathroom a long time. Are you alright?" asked Oberon. "I'm fine. I just need to rest my feet for a bit," said Kain, leaving his hiding spot. He left his stall to wash his hands fastidiously, and he frowned when he realized that there was no soap left. "2 in 1 night. I admire your stamina," said Oberon, giggling. "Nothing happened," said Kain disdainfully. "Are skinny hot skanks not your type?" asked Oberon. "I don't have a type. I just wasn't in the mood," said Kain, still washing his hands with just water. "Don't have a type, eh? I guess we're the same," said Oberon, biting his lower lip, and he added, suddenly remembered that Kain didn't like men. "We are the same as far as our taste in women are concerned." "I guess, is Carina still dancing with Malik?" said Kain. "The little lovebirds are taking a break to empty out our entire liquor cabinet," said Oberon. Good for them," said Kain with a hint of jealousy in his voice. "I gotta get back to work," said Oberon, "and please stay where I can see you. Bathrooms are a fun hangout, but they are also a great place for an ambush." Kain left the bathroom following Oberon's advice, and he sat down by the bar to drink a smoothie while he played his game for a bit. And he also made small talk with the bartender, and the 2 hours past midnight, Carina was officially at her limit, and she had forgotten that she had work and that Kain was employed. Malik threw Carina over his shoulder before joining up with Kain. "I think she had enough," said Malik. "Are you alright to drive?" Yes, said Kain, picking up Carina. "Malik, wait, I'm not done talking with you," hiccup, said Carina. "Let's go home, Carina," said Kain, walking. No, Malik, you have to come home with us. We're not making the same mistake again," said Carina, reaching for Malik. Carina sunk her claws into Malik's shirt, and Malik tried to move away from Carina, but the woman refused to let go. The 3 friends left Space Club, all the while Carina continued to be both whiny and paranoid, and she wanted Malik to tell her the identity of the woman that had defiled him when he was a teenager, and Malik didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to think about it. a pity that Carina wasn't the type to live well enough alone, and her questions kept scratching away at the festering wound in Malik's soul. Get in the car with us, Malik, said Kain, and you look as purple as a grape. I don't think you're well enough to drive. Let me worry about me, and you worry about Carina, said Malik. What he truly wanted to say was, Carina is the only thing that you ever cared about, and it's not as if we were truly friends. Malik felt something brush past him, and at the time he didn't think much of it. Kain drove Carina home, and the moment she entered her house, extremely wasted, Rebecca pitched a fit, and Bruno regarded his sister's little outburst with cool indifference. He picked up his girlfriend Carina, and he took her to the bathroom. Carina peeled off her insides before half fainting on top of the toilet. I'm a mess, Bruno, said Carina. No, you're beautiful, and please don't speak ill of yourself, my love. It wounds the worry you carry inside your heart, said Bruno with all sugary sweet voice. I did everything right, and why does it feel so wrong? Insisted Carina, trying to stand up. You will feel better after you take a shower. Come now, love, and take my hand. The sooner you shower, the quicker you can get to bed. And tomorrow you have work, or don't you remember? Whispered Bruno as he undressed Carina. Carina sat in the shower, and she took much comfort from Bruno gently washing her body and cleaning her hair. And while she roosted there, her mind drifted to Malik again, and he would also shower her whenever she was too wasted to take care of herself. And Rebecca entered the bathroom with 2 towels and a bathrobe, and she assisted her brother in getting Carina out of the shower. I'm sorry, Malik, said Carina, calling Bruno by the other man's name. I wasn't there for you. Can you forgive me? A thin smile was painted on Bruno's lips, and Rebecca tried to interpret that smile, but she could never tell what her little brother was thinking. And once Carina was safely installed in her bed, Kain finally left her house. And he fiddled with Carina's car keys, and he wanted to drive Malik home, but his friend didn't want his help. And he got a text message from Malik. Somebody had stolen his car keys, and he needed Kain to pick him up. Kain sighed with relief. The problem had solved itself. After a short 20-minute drive, he was able to reunite with Malik. And Malik had dragged himself into a stupor, and Oberon was standing outside with Malik to keep him safe, and from time to time, Malik would eye Oberon with suspicion. He didn't understand how such a short guy was employed as a bouncer. I bet I could take you, said Malik, speaking his drunken thoughts aloud. Take me where? Asked Oberon innocently. You wanna fight, funny guy? Barked Malik, shoving Oberon. Please, Malik, settle down, said Kain, taking Malik by the elbow. And what would your father say if he saw you like this? Fuck my father. He doesn't care if I live or die, whined Malik. And he added as tears ran down his cheek. He doesn't care about me. There, said Kain as he attempted to hug Malik. Don't touch me, barked Malik, punching Kain in the face. And don't touch me, don't you ever fucking touch me. Kain stood there waiting, and this was an unfamiliar problem that he didn't know how to manage. And Oberon picked up Malik like a sack of potatoes, and Malik punched and kicked up a storm. And Kain guided Oberon to the car, and once Malik was safely stashed in the back seat, both men breathed a collective sigh of relief. Oberon gave Kain Malik's car keys, and Kain frowned when he saw that Oberon's face was bruised. A friend of mine owns a clinic, and if you tell her that Kain sent you, she can give you a family discount, said Kain, giving Oberon the address. I have insurance, lied Oberon. You can tell her that I will pay in full. If you have insurance, then you shouldn't need to pay, said Kain, but I won't argue. I will tell her to charge you in full. Kain drove away with Malik, and his friend had fallen asleep. And he called ahead to inform Lorraine that he was bringing his grandson home. And Lorraine had just turned 60, but he looked and felt like an 80-year-old. And he was functionally bald, with only a few wisps of white hair in the back of his head. And his face was like a melted candle, while his eyes were a solid green hue. Lorraine didn't sleep whenever his grandson went out to destroy himself, and he wanted Malik to go to AA or a trauma counselor, or both. And if Lorraine so much as hinted about the existence of a counselor, Malik would immediately leave the house to drink, and Lorraine left his seat when he saw Kain entering the house while carrying Malik. God bless you, Kain, and thank you for bringing Malik home, said Lorraine, and he added, what happened to your eye? Kain opened his mouth to think of a good lie, but he was mentally exhausted. Was it Malik? Asked Lorraine. No, it was a different drunk, lied Kain. A married woman brushed up against me, and her husband didn't take too kindly to her cheating ways, so he sucker punched me. Malik? Asked Ariel, peeping out of her bedroom. Go to sleep, Ariel, said Lorraine. Kain has carried Malik to the bathroom, and like Carina, Malik emptied his bowels, and he got undressed without the assistant before entering the shower, and the cold water helped bring him out of his stupor. While Malik showered, Kain spoke with Lorraine in the bedroom. Does Ezra know? Whispered Kain. Ezra was Malik's father, and Ezra had divorced Rosanna and moved to Orlando, and he had a new wife and children, and his relationship with Malik had become strained due to the divorce. No, he doesn't. Malik forbade us from telling his father about what the demon succubus did to him, said Lorraine bitterly. He already knows, lied Malik, and he left the bathroom while wearing a clean set of pajamas, and he told his father his story while claiming that it had happened to someone else. I told him everything the day that after it happened, but he didn't believe a word I said. I see, said Lorraine, growing somber. Malik sank into his bed, and his grandpa tucked him in the same way he used to back him when he was a wee child. Kain saw the time, and it was almost 4 o'clock, and he yawned as his body was overcome with weariness, and he texted home to inform his father that he was sleeping over at Malik's house. He was too weary to drive home, and he informed Jack that both Malik and Carina got drunk, and as a designated driver, it fell on him to bring both idiots home. Jack, who was still waiting for his son to come home, finally left the couch to go to sleep in his bedroom. The following morning, Jack drove out to Malik's house to bring Kain a clean uniform, his gun, and his utility belt. Kain was already up and about making breakfast, and the smell of food lured Ariel out of her bedroom, and she opened the door for Jack to enter within. Kain, are you good friends with a witch Irina? Asked Ariel. Yes, do you want to curse one of your little friends? Asked Kain, smiling benevolently. I want a love spell, lied Ariel. How cute, my little baby's growing up so fast, said Rosanna before hugging her youngest daughter. Ariel was Malik's half-sister, and she had blonde hair and blue-green eyes, and she was as skinny as a twig like her mother, and her face was a tad managed, since she had her father's big nose and thin lips, and Rosanna was in her late 40s, and she was a lovely green-eyed brunette who dyed her hair blonde, and she dated a little after her divorce, but as of lately she had resigned herself to living without a man in her life. Even so, she lied that her sweet daughter had a little boyfriend. Rosanna frowned when her black sheep of a son crawled out of his bedroom, and even with 2 showers, Malik still smelled like a brewery, and he had tried to mask his scent by applying cologne. Sweet Ariel hugged her big brother in order to comfort him. She didn't know what was truly wrong, but she could tell that he was suffering. The family and guests ate breakfast in silence, and Malik drove his little sister to school while Kain and Jack went to work. Once again, he was sent to spy on Jeremy, and even if Jeremy was no longer a suspect in a criminal investigation, he still needed to be observed. The new working theory was that his secret, psychotic, violent boyfriend was the thief. And Kain followed Jeremy's dog-walking route for 2 hours, and from time to time he checked the camera networks in search of spywares and viruses. If a hacker was involved, he was a very good one because he didn't leave a trace of his tampering, and Jeremy returned the dogs to Eugenia's garden, and he was out of sight for half an hour. I know, said Jeremy, unexpectedly appearing inside Kain's car. Ah, fuck me, yelled Kain, completely taken aback. You got me good, Jeremy. I didn't even notice when you got inside the car. The doors automatically unlock when you put the car in parking. I would be careful if I were you. One never knows if a psychopath might take advantage of your car scheming to slip your crook, said Jeremy sinisterly, and he opened the passenger door to allow Theobald into the car. So where to? Asked Kain shyly. To the Islandia police station. Since I am no longer the suspect on our investigation, there's no need for you to continue stalking me, officer, said Jeremy. I always believe in your innocence, Jeremy, said Kain, but Sidanta asked me to keep an eye on you, and he wanted to know the identity of your secret lover, and he's worried about you because of the bruises. I should have guessed as much, and Mrs. Balthazar doesn't know the meaning of the word secret. But that is what I deserve for thinking that a mute knows how to keep quiet, whispered Jeremy. And then he said loudly to Kain, spy on me again, and there will be consequences. What consequences? Asked Kain, still with the same shy smile. He found Jeremy's tantrum adorable. Siddhanta doesn't even consider you a friend, but Jeremy kicking Kain's driver's seat. And you are his errand boy and nothing more, and he only ever thinks unflattering things about you, Kain, and you are better off looking for a friend elsewhere. I see, said Kain, growing saddened. And do you consider me your friend, Jeremy? No, said Jeremy. Why? Asked Kain. We have irreconcilable differences, and nothing you say or do is ever going to make me consider you someone worthy of being my friend, said Jeremy. You are not mad because of the spying thing, asked Kain. No, I'm already used to looking over my shoulder constantly, said Jeremy. Kain grew saddened by what Jeremy said, and he began to overanalyze all of his interaction with Siddhanta and Jeremy. If it wasn't for work or Jeremy related, Siddhanta didn't bother to speak to him. And as for Jeremy, their interaction were always being forced by Siddhanta, and it made sense that Jeremy would resist being friends with somebody he couldn't tolerate. And why didn't Jeremy want to be his friend? He was always so nice to Jeremy. And as for the spying thing, he did it because he was worried, and he felt sorry for the delicate Jeremy, and he wanted to protect him from all the evils of the world, and perhaps Jeremy had taken to offense at being treated as a weakling. Kain drove to the Islandia police station with Jeremy, and during that time Jeremy informed Balthazar that they were no longer friends, and he removed Balthazar from his contact list, and he marked his phone as spam. Kain arrived to the station close to noon, and he went to Uncle Gen to inform him that he was done spying on Jeremy. And if Siddhanta wanted to know what his little brother was up to, he should hire a private detective. And why are you telling me, not Siddhanta? Asked Gen dryly. He's not in the police station, and I need to go to the clinic, said Kain, pointing to his swollen eye. He lacked the courage to tell Siddhanta that he didn't want to spy on Jeremy anymore. Chish! Did you try putting some beef on that? Asked Gen, grimacing. I did. The swelling was much worse last night, and I better have Onla look at it just in case, said Kain. Kain drove to Onla's clinic, and it was a family-owned business owned by Onla and her two big sisters. Their adult group worked in the clinic, with the exception of Rodrigo, who was the family lawyer. And Carina was employed in a different clinic, and she wanted to make it on her own without having to work in the family clinic. And Kain smiled shyly when he saw Oberon in the waiting room, and he said beside Oberon while he filled up his charts, Teresa, I also want to check myself for cooties. Can you do this here, or where can I go get tested? Asked Kain as his face blushed an exquisite pink. Aha, so you did get lucky, said Oberon, giggling. No, I have been using expired condoms for years, and nobody told me that they expire. And after the expiration date, they start losing their ability to protect you from STD, said Kain, alarmed. Don't make a big deal about it, Kain, said Teresa, the secretary. She was Rodrigo's little sister, and she had curly brown hair, almond skin, broad eyes, a rubenesque figure, and full pouty lips. It is not as if you are that experienced. How inexperienced are you? Asked Oberon, raising an eyebrow. Define inexperienced, said Kain. How many times a week do you fuck? Asked Oberon. Twice, if I'm lucky, said Teresa. And once in a blue moon there happens to be a man in my bedroom. It all depends on the company, and if I have a girlfriend and I follow her rate, and before Eugenia grew bored of me, we made it 4 to 5 times a week, though on the weekends it happened twice and sometimes thrice. And the second person I made it with the most was Carina, and whenever she would break up with her boyfriend, she would sleep with me for a few days before bouncing to someone more interesting, explained Kain. So if you're not in a committed relationship, you do not put out, asked Oberon. Truth be told, I had never been with a woman that wanted to commit to me, and they all leave me after a month or two, and Eugenia was the first woman I had performance issues with, and the first time she sunk her claws into me, I wasn't able to get inspired, and despite her best effort, and once we got better acquainted, I was able to keep up with her for the most part, and my body was willing, but I didn't have the skills to satisfy her, so she left me, said Kain while thinking of Eugenia, and as of lately, I haven't been in much of a mood. You didn't meet Eugenia shortly after your accident. Perhaps the stress of almost dying is the reason why you have performance issues, suggested Unla. I don't have performance issues. I can rise to the occasion if I feel like it, protested Kain, folding his arm. Nobody here is attacking you, Kain, and we are just having a friendly conversation, said Unla, coming out from underneath the receptionist's desk. And she had been eavesdropping since he had heard Kain talking about his latest malfunction. Do you have a type? Asked Teresa, and if you tell us your type, it is going to make it easier for us to find your girlfriend. I don't have a type. I am not shallow, said Kain, starting to hyperventilate. Come on, Kain, don't be shy. Everyone has a type, said Teresa. Quiet, Teresa, you're not helping, barked Unla. Please, Unla, I didn't come for a session. I am not in the mood to talk about my types or my bedroom preferences, said Kain, dropping the subject altogether. He was irritated that sex was the most important thing that women valued in a relationship, and he barely cared or even thought about it, so why was it so important to Eugenia? And he was willing to learn, but Eugenia wasn't willing to train him to do the things she liked, and it was easy for her to just replace him. Alright, at the end of that chapter. Bye-bye.